Commanding General of the Transatlantic Division, U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, I would like to welcome you to today's change of responsibility ceremony between Command Sgt. Major Delfin J. Romani and Command Sgt. Major Clifton D. Morehouse. Please stand for the entrance to the official party. Ladies and gentlemen, our distinguished guests joining us today are Colonel Retired Dan Gray, Command Sergeant Major Patrickson Toussaint, the 14th Command Sergeant Major of the Army Corps of Engineers, and his wife Tanya. Command Sergeant Major and Mrs. Munoz, 20th Engineer Brigade. Command Sergeant Major Retired Houston, the 13th Command Sergeant Major of the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, and his spouse Kim. Command Sergeant Major Nathan Atkinson, Command Sergeant Major and Mrs. Kabanayan, former Army Captain Lance Dees, Colonel Bennett, Wilmington District Commander, Colonel Baker, Joint Task Force Bravo, Lieutenant Colonel Billman, Southcom Engineer. We would like to extend a special welcome to the family of these two great leaders. Command Sergeant Major Romani's wife, Marina, his children, Leah Maria, Liam, and Lenya, and his brothers, Jose, Delfin, Renzo, and Ruben, and his close friends, Jorge Tricoch, and spouse, Eric Hoffman, and David Boyd, and spouse. All three have served with Command Sergeant Major Romani since 1997. Command Sergeant Major Morehouse's wife, Jeskenia, his children, David, Aaron, and Delilah. His father, McLuhan's, his mother, Navarra, brothers Kenneth and Sergeant Major Dwayne Robinson, and his sister Tina. And to the many senior leaders, special friends, and co-workers who are too numerous to mention that are joining us in person and virtually. Thank you for joining us today. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, a bouquet of red roses is being presented to Mrs. Romani. Red is the color of the heart and reflects the loving concern that Mrs. Romani has shown to our soldiers, civilians, and their families. Mrs. Romani's roses are in full bloom, symbolizing the beauty and fulfillment of her time with us in the Corps of Engineers. Mrs. Morehouse is being presented with a bouquet of yellow rosebuds. Yellow is the color of a new beginning and symbolizes Mrs. Morehouse's arrival to the Corps of Engineers. In time, rosebuds will bloom, as will Mrs. Morehouse's relationship with the soldiers, civilians, and families of the Corps of Engineers. Command Sergeant Major Morehouse will also provide a yellow rose to his daughter Delilah. Additionally, the two sergeants major will present gifts to their families as tokens of their affection and appreciation. Please stand for the playing of the national anthem and remain standing for the invocation offered by Chaplain Rudolph.
blessings. I invite you to pray in your faith tradition as I pray in mine. O heavenly God, in your sacred text, you called upon Cain and asked, "Where is your brother?" Cain responded, "Am I my brother's keeper?" In other words, am I responsible for someone besides myself? Later, your wise sages wrote, Kol Yisrael Arabim Zeh Bazeh. All Israel is responsible for one another. Before you and us, we have two humble servant leaders, Delfin Romani and Clifton Morehouse. Each embody the core value of responsibility for others. We as a Transatlantic Division family are beyond blessed to have them serving in our highest echelons of leadership and responsibility. Eternal Sovereign, we thank you for the gift that has been Command Sergeant Major Romani. His leadership and care for us have been of the highest and noblest order. We ask that you give him and his wonderful family a lifetime of joy, happiness, and peace as he heads into retirement. Lord of hosts, we are grateful to you for having brought Command Sergeant Major Morehouse and his family into our fold. We ask you to bless him with continued strength, fortitude, and resiliency for the enormous duties, challenges, and missions that come with this sacred position. Remind each and every one of us to be there for him and his family daily, as we know that he will always be there for us. Bless and protect him as our new CAD CSL. May God bless our NCO Corps, our TAD family, USACE, our Army, and our beloved country. Let us say, Amen. Thank you, Chaplain. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. We are here today to witness the official change of responsibility between two distinguished leaders. There is no higher enlisted grade of rank except Sergeant Major of the Army, and there is no greater honor. The Command Sergeant Major advises the commander, carries out unit policies, and enforces the highest standards of performance, training, appearance, and conduct of the unit. The Command Sergeant Major is a seasoned veteran whose experience and counsel are sought by subordinate commanders, and like the old sage of times past, the Command Sergeant Major's counsel is expected to be calm, settled, and unequivocally accurate, but with an energy and enthusiasm that never wanes, even in the worst of times. The colors you see before you are the very soul of the United States and the Transatlantic Division. The colors are a visible record of the glories of the past. They stand as guardian over the present and serve to inspire in soldiers the loyalty, duty, and courage to achieve victory in the future. In the past, the colors served as a rallying point for soldiers during the smoke and fog of battle. Today, the colors are a symbol of the unit and accompany the commander wherever they may go. The Change of Responsibility ceremony is a simple, traditional event that is rich with symbolism and heritage. The key to the change of responsibility is the passing of the unit colors. These colors represent not only the heritage and the history of the unit, but also the unity and loyalty of its soldiers. The colors are the commander's symbol of authority, representing their responsibilities to the organization. Wherever the commander is, there are also the colors. The custodian of these colors is the Sergeant Major. As the senior enlisted soldier in the Transatlantic Division, Command Sergeant Major Romani is both the spokesperson for the loyalty and concerns of the soldiers and the principal advisor to the commander. The commander of the troops will pass the colors to Command Sergeant Major Romani, who will in turn pass the colors to the commander. The passing of the colors symbolizes the relinquishment of responsibility and authority
from Command Sergeant Major Romani. The commander will then pass the colors to Command Sergeant Major Morehouse, charging him with the responsibility and authority that comes with his position. Charge orders for Command Sergeant Major Morehouse. Let it be known from this day forward that the commander of the Transatlantic Division has placed special trust and confidence in your patriotism, dedication, integrity, and leadership abilities. Therefore, you are hereby appointed as a Command Sergeant Major, Transatlantic Division. Command Sergeant Major Morehouse will then return the colors to the commander of the troops. Ladies and gentlemen, the commander of the Transatlantic Division, Major General Kimberly Colloton.
All right, we got a full house. It is great to see. Thank you, Sergeant Major Chaplain. Thank you very, very much for your invocation. So if you weren't aware about all the ongoings happening this week, in addition to this change of responsibility, this week on Tuesday was the Army's 247th birthday, and today is the Engineer Regiment's 247th birthday. So got a lot of celebration, a lot of ceremonies, maybe too much cake going on, but most importantly, we are all fortunate to be able to get to be here and actually come together in person, albeit, still smaller than we would like to do, but still nice to have everybody here together and safely share in fellowship and recognize these significant organizational events, get to know each other, and carry out traditional ceremonies like this change of responsibility. First, I would like to recognize the A-Team, or Team TAD, which includes the staff that are doing things behind the scenes and in front of the scenes, the executive offices that have been working so hard to make this event perfect. So thank you all. I'm still back there doing things, so everybody knows, and they'll continue to do things, flutter in and out. It's a busy day and a big day. Thank you all for working so hard to make everything this week for our retirees that we brought in earlier in the week, our team members, and for these two sergeants. I'd like to thank Command Sergeant Major Toussaint for making the trip, and Zoe Tanya out here from DC. I know how proud you are of these two incredible non-commissioned officers and their families, but for representing as well the 55th Chief of Engineers, the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, and the Army Engineer Regiment today on the engineer's birthday. I'd like to also recognize our outgoing Command Sergeant Major's family, Sergeant Major's wife, Marina, her children, Leah, Maria, and Liam, and Lenya. I don't think she can hear me. She disappeared. As well as your extended family, your three brothers, your father, Jose, Delfin, Lorenzo, your uncle, Ruben, who joined us from both New Jersey and Peru. Thanks for being here to support Sergeant Major. It's important for the Romani family that this is not only special because of the important role that he plays in this division, the Transatlantic Division, because he's made such a direct impact and he has had huge influence on the people here and made a huge difference in this organization during the time that we have had him serving. But this is also significant because this is Sergeant Major Romani's last formal change of responsibility in the Army. The Romanis have done this before on more than one occasion. As a company first sergeant, later as a battalion command sergeant major in Italy in the 54th Brigade Engineer Battalion, as a brigade combat team, Command Sergeant Major at Fort Carson, and then here at the division as the Command Sergeant Major for the Transatlantic Division. And normally we would change Sergeant Major Romani out of one position, and then we would whisk him and his family off quickly because they immediately needed to be somewhere else, where the Army would then assign him to another camp, post, station, or unit and give him more increased responsibilities for another complex organization. However, this time, following the ceremony today, we'll conduct a retirement ceremony for Sergeant Major Romani and recognize him for a distinguished 25-year career. And then the only responsibility he will be immediately assuming is the list of things Verena and his children are going to give him to do when they get home to Fort Romani. So it's a big day. I'm really extremely glad, Sergeant Major Morehouse, that your wife, Jess, your children, David, Delilah, and Darren, as well as your mother and your father-in-law, your sister, Tina, and Kenneth, and Sergeant Major, and your friends were able to make it here to support you for this day. And let me not forget to mention the other important key parts of our traditional ceremony is all of the other guests that are here in the audience, fellow commanders, fellow Command Sergeant Majors, soldiers, family members, Army Corps of Engineers, employees, co-workers, Transatlantic Division team members, near and far, family and friends, mentors, advisors, and fans of the Romani and Morehouse families. Thank you to all of you who have joined us today in person, virtually, and in spirit. I usually start every one of these events, and I'll do it again, by quoting Lieutenant General Van Antwerp. He said that this is, and I completely agree, a get-to kind of a day. There's things we have to do, and then there's things we get to do. And this is an opportunity that I am not only honored, but privileged to get to be here to oversee this very important transfer of responsibility. I also remind myself of how lucky I am to even be assigned to a command, a unit that has an authorized Command Sergeant Major. As in the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, on this side of our regiment, we have very few Command Sergeant Major positions. I know Sergeant Major Toussaint and Sergeant Major Houston have been really working hard to open that up for us, but I've been very fortunate to be one of those commands that is special because we have a Command Sergeant Major. As all of you know, the Command Sergeant Major is the highest enlisted rank in our military, which means that they have been very successful in their profession, and they have a wealth of experience to share and to leverage. And if I have one word of advice for anyone, on our team or not, listen to them. Ask their advice, and I would generally say, always take it. It might ask you to do something a little harder than you wanted to do, but that's what they're there for. And they have a wealth of experience and advice to give and to share, as long as you're willing to listen. I must also emphasize that these two exemplary non-commissioned officers and Command Sergeant Majors are standouts in our Army. That if you read their bios in the program, or if you know them personally, they are absolutely experts in their profession with exceptional character and integrity. Truly are the Army's finest. As you said, Chaplain, we are blessed to have such talent on our team. So today we gather for this change of responsibility between these two outstanding non-commissioned officers. And since the creation of our Army, by order of the Continental Congress, the non-commissioned officer has been integral to every success our Army has achieved. Under the expert hand of the Army's first Inspector General, the duties of the non-commissioned officer were standardized, and the unique history and traditions of our American NCO were born. And they continue today as we codified in this ceremony. It may seem that the Command Sergeant Major is involved in many things, and yes, they are. The Sergeant Major has the responsibility to be the command's senior military advisor, and this command has a very wide area of responsibility. Today, the Transatlantic Division has responsibility for accounting daily for nearly 800 military, civilians, contractors, and foreign service nationals working in 10 countries for nearly $5 billion worth of work. As the Command Sergeant Major, they have the responsibility to advise on how we are taking care of our people, to ensure good order and discipline, to create and maintain a healthy work environment where all people can thrive, not just survive. And they ensure that we are developing our leaders and building high-performing teams. the teams that we need to deliver the critical missions and capabilities that we've been asked to deliver in support of our nation and our partners' national security. And it's imperative that the Sergeant Major has the candor and the confidence to tell us leaders, us military and civilians, how they see things, what they see if it's not right, or if they're counterproductive to the tenets of good leadership, good order and discipline, and taking care of people. I want to talk a little bit now about Sergeant Major Romani in his role as the Command Senior Military Advisor and the 5th Command Sergeant Major for the Transatlantic Division. Doctrinally, the Command Sergeant Major is the senior non-commissioned officer in a unit who advises the commander on all issues. Commanders that employ their Command Sergeants Major throughout an area of operation to extend command influence, assess the morale of the force, and assist during critical events. So let me reinforce the extending influence. Sergeant Major Romani was always engaging and expanding this command's influence and created access to resources and opportunities that helped us deliver our programs and take care of our people. Sergeant Major Romani has an outstanding reputation, and I know all of you know that, not only as a proven warfighter, a humble leader, but a selfless servant. He leveraged daily his relationships and reputation to make sure that the CAD team would win. If there was someone he could call to help, one of his close friends, a group of trusted sergeant majors or former bosses and friends, and many of you here have probably received a call from him, asking if you could help us with retention support for the 249th Engineer Battalion, connections for our team in Kuwait, Julie, that was you. How can we make it smoother as we, introduce a new district to Camp Arifjan? Someone who needs help with an award that should have been done a year ago, or we need something now from the first TNC or ARCENT, or the aide in the front office needs a contact to get a hold of someone and set up an office call, Sergeant Major would be the one that they would go to. If I needed assistance, and I did, in preparing for a memorial service that we would be given the honor to preside over for a staff sergeant that was killed in a helicopter crash in the Sinai, Sergeant Major was there to extend his influence, run us through the paces, and to ensure that any bit of that ceremony was done flawlessly. He made sure that we were always set up for success. We're the only USACE division that currently has people in an active combat zone. And we have civilians and military working projects in over 10 countries in the Middle East. And so the other aspects of a sergeant major's role, assess the morale of the force and assist during critical events, were areas that Sergeant Major Romani always embraced passionately. When we started redeploying large numbers of our team from Afghanistan and establishing a footprint in Kuwait during a very restricted COVID period, and going through a significant reset across the CENTCOM AOR, Sergeant Major Romani was always in the emergency ops center, on the phone, and making sure we are focused on our most important resource, our people and their family members. And he ensured they were listened to, and that we had the resources to take care of our civilian and military team members with professionalism. Without his direct leadership, many things would have fallen short. Sergeant Major Romani is always involved with our military personnel and our command teams. He's always got time to review NCOERs, to provide advice on assignments, to help keep our team competitive for future opportunities and promotion. He challenged every leader in the organization to ensure that our decisions and our actions appropriately applied common sense. Not having prior USACE experience, he never hesitated to continue to learn. When he learned something, he picked it up very quickly, then went and applied those lessons learned to helping guide our organization forward. Before long, he established himself as our safety champion, a part of our Human Capital Council, and is now a member of the USACE Enterprise Diversity and Inclusion Board. I know as the commander, I counted on your guidance and counsel routinely. You were the consummate sergeant major, largely behind the scenes, but always looking out for the good of our organization and helping coach, teach, and mentor the team and me. Not every division has a sergeant major, as I said, but if there ever was a period of time in which they had a sergeant major, it would be during these last 2 years of COVID. And if there was a sergeant major tailor-made for this assignment, it's Sergeant Major Romani. Because everything on a sergeant major's plate boils down to taking care of people, he was truly the right person at the right time. I wish you, Marina, Leah, Maria, Leon, and Lenya, all the best as you commence on your next life's journey. Like those that have come before and those that will come after you, you are now part of the Transatlantic Division legacy. You have an open invitation to always come back anytime, and hopefully next year you'll be sitting in the audience for our State of the Union or State of the Division address and our Gallery of Distinguished Civilians induction ceremony, and maybe our Engineer and Army Birthday Week celebrations. Sergeant Major Morehouse, Sergeant Major Romani has made this organization better by leaps and bounds, and I know you will continue to take that in momentum and go forward. We're still operating in an active combat zone, and we have a $5 billion workload that continues to grow, and we're still dealing with the COVID pandemic. And as mentioned, our team members continue to be spread out throughout the Middle East, and they need someone to be their voice. I'm glad to see that the Army's given us another Sergeant Major of your stature, and I know you're up for the task. As the 6th Command Sergeant Major for this division, you now have the responsibility to provide your candid and expert advice on taking care of our people and their families. People are our #1 priority. Take care of them, and we will always win. We're all in it together. We're in it to win it. Happy birthday, Army Corps of Engineers. Building strong. Sam.
Ladies and gentlemen, Command Sergeant Major Delfin J. Romani.
Thank you for the kind remarks. Appreciate it. So there's 2 ceremonies, right? We will follow up with the retirement. So I will save most of my remarks for the retirement ceremony. But I want to thank the great TAF, my great TAF family, the USACE family. And so I begin by saying to Lieutenant General Stallman, Sergeant Major, to say thank you for allowing me to be a Sergeant Major for the Transatlantic Division. General Colloton, thank you for being such an amazing battle buddy. Your patience and sound leadership are key to the success of our MSC. I can tell you that under your leadership, the division is now very postured and prepared to support the nations and partners more complex engineering challenges. Mr. Adams, I am always so impressed your expertise and the amount of knowledge you possess. You make it look so easy. Always with a great attitude. And Mr. Adams, never go for a run with Mr. Adams because he will tell you that he runs 12 minute miles and with the running 6 minute mile down DC. Colonel Bells, Colonel Horlacher, Colonel Baumgartner, what a great set of battle buddies committed to the success of the division and its people. Thank you, sir, for the countless hours and mutual support. To the TAT team, thank you for taking me with open arms, for your support and the help as I learned the USACE way. Our board of directors, Scott Sawyer, Silly, Wilcox, Ms. Raposa, and to the special team that put this together. I was told to say that Bonnie was the greatest, but to Mr. Kirsten Davis, Sarah, Mr. Dale, Captain Brian, Aldrich, your fingerprints are all over the ceremony, so thank you. And to my squad, my personal squad, to Sarah, Bonnie, Captain Hong Aldrich, Captain Aaron, Captain Choi, Cindy, D'Angelo, Miss Booker, Miss Murphy, Miss Gassick, and the quiet professionals, Melanie, Kat, Sherman, Tat, Sal, Brad, Maria, Linda, Kevin, and the many others. Thank you. And to the district commanders, DPM sergeant majors, and members of our great districts, the Transatlantic Middle East District, the Transatlantic Afghanistan District, the Transatlantic Task Force S.A. Jones in Iraq, and the Transatlantic Expeditionary Districts. Colonel Secrets, Colonel Giraldi, Colonel Haas, Colonel Reed, Colonel Amberman, thank you. Sergeant Majors Marshall, Claire, Stomagan, Taylor, and the DPMs, Mr. Juarez, Britton, Margaret Jones, Mr. Levine, and Rob Newman. Thanks to all of them for all the lessons that I learned from them. And finally, to my USACE brothers, Command Sergeant Major Gaelic and Lancet, thank you for your patience in coaching me through the many USACE systems. And thank you very much for your support and the great time we shared together. It has been an honor to be part of the winning team. I am humbled to end my career with the Transatlantic team and our amazing group of DA civilians. In it to win it, building strong.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Command Sergeant Major of the Transatlantic Division, Command Sergeant Major Clifton D. Morehouse.
First, I'd like to start off by thanking God for allowing us all to be here today to take part in this occasion. So, thank you, Lord Savior. Good morning, CSM Hussein, Mrs. Hussein, Major General Colloton, Mr. Adam, Colonel Long, Colonel, family, friends, fellow leaders for coming here today. Major Colloton, thank you for selecting me to be the next STAT Command Sergeant Major. It is an honor and privilege to have this opportunity. Sergeant Major Singh, Lieutenant General Stallman, thank you for allowing me to be able to serve at the TAD CSM. I look forward to this opportunity. To my wife, Justania, my children, David, Delilah, and Darren, thank you for continued support, and I applaud you, your resilience on the constant moves almost every 18 months, it seems like, through the past 4 or 6 years. Thank you all for being here for me. CSM Romani, thank you for all the advice and support you provide to me as I transition into this position. I couldn't pick a better person to follow. I won't lie to you, it's kind of intimidating following you in your shoes because everybody knows who you are. But I thank you for setting the foundation for me and getting me around to see all the things I need to see and make sure I have a smooth transition to the TAD. I really appreciate it. And best of luck to you, your wife, and your children. I really do hope you guys have an awesome life after this. To the Transatlantic Division civilians and soldiers, I look forward to working with you all. And I will ensure the office of the TAD CSM is an office of the utmost character. I will do all I can to support you all day in, day out. SAI and into winning, voting from.
We are privileged to have witnessed the change of responsibility for the United States Army Corps of Engineers. Command Sergeant Major Morehouse will carry on the great tradition of the Command Sergeants Major before him. Please join me in showing him our appreciation for these outstanding leaders. Please rise for the conclusion of today's ceremony, playing of the Engineers and Army song.
In my song, the army of the free, down the brave, down the true, who have fought to victory. We're the army and proud of our name. We're the army and proudly proclaim. First to fight for the right and to build the nation's might, and the army goes soaring along. We have done fighting till the battle's won, and the army goes roaring along. And it's high, hey, the army's on its way. Now the king is stop and strong. Wherever we go, you always know that the army goes roaring along.
Ma'am, sir.
Please join us at the reception for Command Sergeant Major Morehouse and his family, starting at 10:45, located in the first floor, Old Oasis, near the IT help desk. Please be mindful as you exit and seek out